it was just real sweet. And we walked around for like 3 hours looking at houses. And then we got back to the square. And my cousins, because I do have relatives there, made us like homemade pasta. And it was just, we were just sitting there at a little folding table overlooking like this beautiful town, eating pasta off a paper plate with like homemade red wine in a plastic cup. And it was like, I don't think it gets better than this. Cawfee Talk. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cawfee Talk, where the coffee's hot and the talk is real. It is Tara Cannistraci returning from Sicily. Regretfully, I kind of wish I was still there. I'm feeling energized, though, this morning. I went to bed at 8 o'clock last night and woke up at 6 a.m. I went from Italy to New York to California by last night, 8 o'clock. I didn't know what day it was, what time zone I was in. I was completely exhausted, but I'm feeling refreshed today. And so many of you reached out to tell me how much you loved following my trip online, whatever pictures I did post. I did stay more unplugged than I usually do when I'm away. And that was probably in part or really mostly because I was with my dad, who was 80 years old, on this trip. And I felt responsible for making sure we were always doing things together. And I got to be honest, it kind of felt so great. I did miss you guys, but I definitely needed the downtime. So to brief you, if you're listening, if you're just tuning in and you don't know where I was, I went to Sicily. Last week, I went to Taormina, which is beautiful, but then I also went about 20 minutes away to the hometown where my grandparents were from. It's called Forza D'Agrò. It's a beautiful, charming town in Sicily that is not commercialized at all, that is still 20 minutes just from Taormina and an hour from Catania, so literally you have everything there, but it's just this like untouched little jewel. And not so unknown, I said it on the podcast a few weeks ago, the town my grandparents were from was where The Godfather was filmed. A lot of people think it was Corleone. It is, in fact, Forza D'Agrò in Savoca, where the movie was filmed in Sicily. And so my town gets a little bit of traction because of that, a lot of traction, which is so great to see that The Godfather is still that influential. And I brought my dad back, and that was an emotional journey. For one, I had tried to plan a few things with him, or with the town in particular. Thank you to Emmanuel Di Cara, who made all of my dreams come true there. There were a few surprises in store for me when I got there. I did coordinate doing a bilingual mass in the church my grandparents were married in. Again, the church that was in The Godfather. And I did want to renew my vows with my husband in that church, with my father present, because I thought that would be very meaningful. My aunt and uncle were also with me, my father's brother and his wife. And when we got there, they went above and beyond. They brought in a priest from another parish just because nobody in my town speaks English. So they brought in another priest to do the mass for us that night. It was a Friday night. A few people from town came. These beautiful voices from these little Italian women that are still dressed in black because somebody died 40 years ago. They were at the mass. They didn't smile at me, but they were there and they sang. And it was very emotional. And then afterwards, the mayor of the town actually had a reception for me in his office. They had a cake. I got to show you the picture of this cake. They had a cake with just my picture on it. It said "Bienvenuto," like welcome to Forza D'Agrò, with a picture of one of my headshots. But ironically enough, it was right after we had just renewed our vows. So I looked at my husband. I go, "This is exactly as my wedding cake should be. Just a picture of me." They brought out Prosecco. The entire city council came. They were so excited that I was there, and mostly because I've been speaking so much about the town that people who are visiting Sicily now are visiting my town because they're learning about it. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. It has history, and it's 20 minutes from Taormina. So it's a great location. It's also a great place to get an Airbnb if you don't want to spend the money on the hotels in Taormina. And it's a small town, but it has like 7 or 8 restaurants. It's just incredible. It's medieval buildings. But yet you're looking at the Ionian Sea. I don't know, guys. There was something about it that night that I felt so honored. And then they took us to a restaurant called Villa Ristorante La Souvenir. And they made a 16-course traditional fish dinner for me and my family. It was just, we stayed till like 1 a.m. And then we knew it was special in the moment. You know those moments where you're like, this is something happening here right now is so special. The owner of the restaurant invited Americans who recently bought a home in the town, and they came over. They're from Naples, Florida. And they came and sat with us, and it kind of inspired me a little bit. I had always said I wanted to get a home in this town, not just as a tribute to my family, but because it's so beautiful and iconic and affordable. Is it realistic? You know, I think a lot of times we talk ourselves into thinking things aren't realistic. I didn't even start stand-up comedy 10 years. I waited 10 years from when I wanted to do it to when I started because I didn't think it was realistic. So, you know, it kind of felt fun to fantasize a little bit in that moment. And then hearing somebody who sounds like me and, you know, doesn't speak Italian fluently moved to this little town. And hearing their journey, it was her and her husband, and then hearing how her daughter came to visit and then met a guy in Catania, and then the daughter ended up moving to Italy. And it was like, you know, it just reminded me that possibilities are endless if we don't kind of talk ourselves out of things that we really feel we want to do. And I left there that night, and I visited 2 days later because they were doing an Oktoberfest, which hilarious. There's actually a twin town in Germany with Forza D'Agrò. However, this Oktoberfest, which you normally think about is like beer and sausage, it was just like pasta and Zeppelin. Homemade red wine. There was not one beer or sausage at Oktoberfest. But, and so we went back on that Sunday, and I met everyone from the town who was in the town square. Guys, it was the sense of community I don't remember feeling since the 80s. Like, everyone sitting at tables, people's kids playing. There were people there visiting the town, or, you know, because there were signs all over, you know, down below from the mountain where they are, promoting the Oktoberfest. But it was just so beautiful. And I just don't remember a time. It's like maybe it reminded me of like a block party in the 80s is the equivalent I could have to it. But it was just more special than even that. And you know, we stayed in town the entire day, and I took my dad to see my grandparents' house. We looked all around town. We looked at all the houses that are available for purchase. I am still very interested in perhaps planting some roots in Forza D'Agrò. And it reminded me of kind of what's important. And, you know, things like that happen. Good things happen and bad things happen in life, right? Where we gain perspective. Sometimes somebody passes away or somebody gets sick and we go, oh my God, life is so short. Or this was just one of those times where it was really good. It was a really good event that reminded me of what was so important. And ultimately, it's just community and being present and, you know, finding your people and finding the things that you really love to do and stop talking yourself out of, you know, what could be really good for you. You know, you got to sometimes take a risk. And I think I'm willing to do that. If I do it, I'm going to film this journey because the house that I want, I don't even know where to start with it. It looks like something out of the 1700s. And that's probably the last time the plumbing was done. Oh, wait, there wasn't plumbing then. Exactly. So it's going to be a journey.
What did you like? Stick your ass out the window? Or?
I don't know what. No. I mean, it's condemned at this point, this house. I don't even know. There was a window. I mean, there was a window overlooking the Ionian Sea. Like, It's stone.
So
It's
you like
just
squat over the sea?
I mean, I didn't stay in it, but I would. Listen, if that's the only way to do it. But listen, no, here's the thing. There are homes there that are already more developed. The people who purchased the home had the bones of they had good bones, the house they were in. The house I want in particular doesn't have necessarily good bones. So it's going to be a workout if I do it. But
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did they, in that 19-course meal, did they have Clams Casino?
Yeah.
Was that one of the?
They had mussels that almost felt like that, but there weren't Clams Casino. There weren't Clams Casino. It was so much. I don't even know what I was eating. Fish fritters, and it was shrimp and pasta with fish. It was just, I was like 12 courses, and we were like, oh my God, I hope this is the last one. And then he's like, that was just antipasto. And I'm like, what? And he proceeded to send out like 6 more courses.
Wow.
Then they put all the bottles on the table, like it was like this liqueur, this after dinner drink. It was just, and we were just sitting there stuffing ourselves, but laughing and talking. And you know what? Here's the other part about it. A lot of this happened through Google Translate. Shout out Google Translate. Because I wouldn't even had this connection with these people if I wasn't able to. They don't speak English and I don't speak Italian. And we did it. We managed to do it the last day that we were there, the day of Oktoberfest. The mayor and his wife came over to me. So sweet. And he said that if we continue to do this and celebrate me every year that I come, then I'm going to have to learn Italian. And I told him, if I learn Italian, I'm going to come for your job. And his wife told me I had her vote. So again, the jokes were able to translate however we were able to deliver them. And it was just real sweet. And we walked around for like 3 hours looking at houses. And then we got back to the square. And my cousins, because I do have relatives there, made us like homemade pasta. And it was just, we were just sitting there at a little folding table overlooking like this beautiful town, eating pasta off a paper plate with like homemade red wine in a plastic cup. And it was like, I don't think it gets better than this. So on that note, I wanted to thank you guys. Oh, that's only the Sicilian part. Wait, that's only the Sicilian part. You guys asked me to elaborate on the stuff with my dad. That was just the 4 days we had in Sicily. From there, we went to Cefalù, also in Sicily. Cute little fishing town. Beautiful hotel. We stayed at Le Colette. And then we went to Rome. Went to Florence. I did find a feu pocketbooks. And then I took my dad. My dad and I had a morning, just him and I. We left my aunt and uncle and husband behind, and him and I went to the Vatican and St. Peter's Basilica. And we just woke up every morning. We all had breakfast together, whether we were overlooking, Roman ruins or, beautiful water. We had so many inside jokes, so many laughs. I'm going to be posting so many videos from this trip. You guys know I rip on my father. My father can't, forget about speaking Italian. My father can't speak English. We don't even know what he speaks. I always joke. I say he speaks Bronx. So I have a bunch of different clips from this. I'm going to post the dinner, the traditional Sicilian dinner. I'm going to post some funny moments with my dad. So please continue to stay tuned for that. I'll put them in YouTube Shorts if you're watching this on YouTube. But ultimately, guys, just an amazing time. Thank you guys for sharing the journey with me. Your comments on this podcast were so sweet about me going. I hope I've shared enough details with you to kind of get you to fantasize about your own little Italian dream, perhaps. So guys, another thing I really need from you, and I should have said in the beginning, and I'll start saying it more. If you do like this podcast and you are subscribed to it, please share it with somebody who you also think would like it. Please give it a review if you're listening to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Please review it. Specifically with 5 stars would be great. And leave a really nice comment. More than the stars, I want to hear your real thoughts on the podcast. Also leave them in the comments if you are watching this on YouTube. I love you guys. All my shows are listed at tarajokes.com. You can also get your Cawfee Tawk mug at tarajokes.com. And I'll tune in with you guys next week. Cawfee Talk.